Alright, so this video was actually inspired by a comment that was just left a little while ago on the last video I did, 30 years of gun collecting and that. Somebody got triggered over um, soda or whatever being called pop. With all the things going on, it never ceases to amaze me what triggers people. When I did the video on this Mauser, people got really triggered because, oh, you took a surplus Mauser, that was worth something and sporterized it and ruined it. That was a non-numbers matching K98 Mauser. The stock was beat the shit out of. The bore was almost, well, it was black inside, and you could see very little rifling. My grandfather originally sporterized that. He had that stock in that action, but he had the military 8mm Mauser barrel on it, and you know he did a good job. I liked it, but realistically, the bore was shot out on it. You used to be able to buy these Adams and Bennett barrels for $80, whatever profile you wanted, whatever thread you wanted, and then they were short chambered. You just had to ream it and headspace it. So that $49 Mauser, I think that's worth a little bit more than $49. And there was tons of them. Here's another one. It wasn't numbers matching, but it had the German Nazi eagle on it, and that this was a German K98. It's now a 458 lot. Um, that action was bought, just the action, for I think $40 at a gun show. Another Adams and Bennett barrel. Uh, that was a gun that was just an action. There was no stock with this, no barrel with this, or nothing. I think that putting it together as something makes it better. But some people say I ruined this one. Here's a double barrel that I ruined. Originally a shotgun that somebody tried to make a coach gun out of, and they cut the barrels off to 18 inches, but they cut them off crooked. So, in order to straighten the barrels up, this thing would have been a short barreled shotgun. It would have been registered with the ATF, or it would have been illegal, or just scrapped. I don't know. I think doing that actually made a pretty cool gun out of it. 416 Taylor double barrel rifle. Going to be a 416 Rigby soon. I think that's kind of cool. It was better than throwing it in the scrap pile. And this one really gets people going. This is the AMD 65. They get really upset because it's put together with screws. Um, Look, you used to be able to buy the Romanian parts kits for like $125 back in the early 2000s. And they had the original military barrel on them. They had that doggle or whatever stupid looking wood grip that came down and curved that I didn't like. This, I bought the receiver. The reason why this one's put together with screws is I'm not going to spend all the money to buy all the fancy tools to put an AK together just so I can have a gun that I can shoot. This thing shoots. This thing shoots good enough that I burned out a barrel on this receiver, and because I learned from the first one I did that I riveted, and I didn't use the right rivets on that, but it worked. When I shot the barrel out of it, I screwed up the receiver and everything trying to press the barrel out and put a new barrel in it. And back then I was like, well, kits are only like 125 bucks. I mean, why not bolt it together? So then when you do shoot it enough to burn it out, because you could buy surplus ammo dirt cheap back then. You could buy there was just tons, as much as you wanted, of the old corrosive ammo. $125 kit. blow that stuff through it, burn the barrel out, corrode it out. Who cares? I pop the screws out, take the barrel and the receiver, or the barrel and the front trunnion, and the bolt, throw them in the trash. Go grab another kit, drill the rivets out, tap it, thread it, bolt it into the next gun. No different than rebarreling an AR, except for I didn't have to worry about setting headspace and that. I stopped buying kits for the most part when they started chopping the barrels off. Um, you want a professionally built AK, a good one? I think they're running 17, 1800, 2 grand, over 2 grand, some of them 3 grand. This thing will outlast me. The barrel will burn out before I have any problems with them screws. When I put the screws in, I put red Loctite in. Got to heat them up a little bit to get it out, but that's fine. By the time I heat it up, it's junk anyway. And the first one I did where I riveted it, I tried to put it in a press with a long steel rod and that. Well, it kicked out and it bent the receiver and ruined it. You know, I don't have anything against the people that are collectors, the people that want to put them back together original. That's fine. But if a guy goes out and buys, anybody, not just me, anybody, goes out and buys a beat up, junky military surplus rifle, whether it's a Mosin Nagant or a Mauser or an AK or anything else, and they put it back together and it shoots good, who cares? At least the gun's not going to the scrapyard or to the scrap pile. People get way too, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to restore old guns. I wouldn't take a numbers matching Mauser that was in nice shape with a good bore in that and sporterize it. I just wouldn't do that. There's people out there that like to collect them. Let the collectors get them. There was so many guns that were bad headspace, bad bores, stocks broke. Just so many guns out there that with the Mausers, you could back when I was young, you could buy them for $49, $49.99. I remember in the Shotgun News, same price at the gun shows, and you could buy them. You could buy SKSs for $69.99. If you bought two, you get them 120 out the door, and for buying two together, you also got one of the span cans of ammo, and all that was steel core, corrosive ammo. We blasted the crap out of that. Who cares, you know? Between the purist and the ATF, they have destroyed the hobby. I mean, there was a lot of people took an old $50 burned out Mauser, spent $100 on a barrel and $100 on a stock and $50 for a gun and for $250, and they could do it over time. They had a beautiful hunting rifle that, you know, they could afford to put it together over time. They couldn't afford to go out and buy a brand new Remington Model 700 or Winchester Model 70, you know. Saved a lot of guns from being scrapped. The guy that bubbaed his SKS, who cares? It's his SKS, man. If he wants to bubba it up and make it look like garbage, let him do it. People say I bubbaed this up and it looks like garbage just because it's got screws instead of rivets. Who cares what they think, you know? I enjoy shooting it when I do shoot it. My other other AK, the very first one I built that on one of the Romanian Guardia, whatever AK parts kits. Like I said, they were 100 or $125 at the gun shows. And I used some metal hardware store rivets. They don't look right either. And that gun's still holding up. That gun still shoots. And rivets never worked loose or nothing else. Um, so I don't know. I mean, the rivets are set all the way down. They're hammered down. They've just never come loose. Never had a problem with it. But anyway, I just figured I'd make a video that triggers people because apparently just calling uh, pop or Coke or soda or whatever you guys call it. I mean, I've been down south, they call it different. Some places they call all sodas or all pops Cokes. Grab me a Coke. What kind of Coke? Sprite, Mountain Dew, whatever. Some people call it soda pop. Some people call it soda. Who gives a shit, you know? But anyway, I just figured I'd do that video to trigger some people every time I pull the AKs out or the Mausers out or the double barrel rifles I build out. It always seems to trigger somebody, and I'm just in one of them moods today, I guess. Let's trigger somebody or trigger a whole bunch of people. But hope everybody has a great day. See you on the flip side.